You probably memorized this verse. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. Lagi nating naririnig ito at marahil lagi rin nating ginagamit. But sadly, this is one of the most misinterpreted, misused, and abused verses in the Bible. Ang problema po kasi ngayon sa atin o sa mga mananampalataya, kukuha tayo ng verse from the Bible that we want and we will interpret it the way we want to. Pero mga kapatid, kung babalikan natin, ano ba talaga ang gustong iparating ni Apostol Pablo? What was his real intention in writing this Philippians 4:13? Well, kung pag-uusapan natin, the book of Philippians was an epistle written by Paul in Rome most probably. At isinulat po ito ni Apostol Pablo when he was in prison. Doon pa lang na malaman natin na isinulat ito ni Apostol Pablo sa kulungan, malalaman na natin that our interpretations are out of context. Isinulat po ito sa kulungan. And he wrote this to the Philippian church to thank them and to tell them to rejoice. Okay? Dahil sa sitwasyon ni Apostol Pablo. At ngayon, tingnan natin kung ano ba talaga ang gustong iparating ni Apostol Pablo concerning this verse. In verse 13, again, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. Nung sinabi niyang I can do all things, it does not mean kaya niyang gawin lahat. Okay? It is not the context of that. Hindi po ito tumutukoy sa paghahanap ng trabaho that I can do this thing because of Christ who gives me strength. That is out of context. Hindi po ito tumutukoy sa eskwelahan o ikay mayroong midterm or finals examination and then you will say, I can do this. I can do all things through Christ. That is also out of context. Bakit di ka na lang mag-aral? Hindi po ito tumutukoy rin sa sports events. We will win the championship because of Christ. We can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. That is mostly out of context. So what was Apostle Paul trying to say? Basahin po natin verse number 10. This will just be short. But I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at the last your care of me hath flourished again, wherein you were also careful, but ye lacked opportunity. Verse 11, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, listen, therewith to be content. Sabi ni Apostol Pablo, natutunan ko in whatever state I am. Basahin natin verse number 12. I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. In whatever state I am, Apostle Paul said, I learned to be content. Again, it was written in prison. He was thanking the Philippians for their help when he was in prison. And right now, sinasabi niya, kaya kong gawin ang mga bagay na ito. I can do all things. What are those things? Is he omnipotent? Na kaya niyang gawin lahat? No. But he was talking about the previous verses. What is that? He can do what? Contentment. He learned to be content. Ang tinutukoy niya po dito is the ministry. There will be afflictions. There will be hardships. There will be persecutions. But he does all those things for the name of Christ. Ang sabi niya po rito, I know both how to abase and I know how to abound. Lahat po ng mga bagay na ito natutunan niya. He was starving. He was dying. He actually experienced all these things. Bakit? Kasi po ang tinutukoy niya rito, the context is about ministry. The hardship in the ministry. And you can just know it if you know how to stay in prison. Yun po ang naranasan ni Apostol Pablo. But nung sinabi niya, I can do all these things, I can do all things through Christ, he was encouraging the Philippians. At ano po yung sinasabi niya dun? All things? Those things that he had experienced and he is about to experience in the ministry of Christ. It talks all about the ministry and in missions. most specifically. Kaya hindi po natin to pwedeng gamitin if you're taking examination. I will pass this examination through Christ. We will win this game through Christ. Oh, I'll have a good job through Christ. No. The Lord Jesus Christ's name is being abused. That's not good. Mga kapatid, let's take the verses on its proper context. This is what the Apostle Paul was intending to say. Ano yun? Kakayanin ko to, kinaya ko itong mga bagay na ito dahil si Kristo, He sustains me. He gives me that strength. He gives me that ability to be content on this matter.